time to talk.
It's 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 time to talk.
Rev TV brings the world of motorsports into your home with over 100 live race series such as MotoGP, IMSA WeatherTech Sports Car Championship, Extreme E, World Superbike, and the newly launched all-electric E1 series. From 2 wheels to 4, from land to sea, your destination is Rev TV.
Live from Alabama, welcome race fans one and all back to Green Flag TV, where tonight we are set to kick off playoff action here at the Talladega Superspeedway. It's called America's biggest, baddest track for a reason, and boy, what a race it's set to be as we kick off playoff action for the Mid-Atlantic Racing Series. Welcome to Green Flag TV. My name is Little Ramble alongside Sheldon Atkins as we bring you all of the action here tonight on Tuesday. Sheldon, it's round 104 of the playoffs, and what an afternoon this one is getting set to be, as you got yourselves 4 races to go in the season, and if there was ever a wild card round to kick off the championship run, this would be it right here.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Starting it off with a bang, Talladega, the track where anything can happen, and, well, just about everybody is created equal as far as pace goes here, because, if you talk about tracks with a lot of parity, the draft, the great equalizer, can make for some really big moments and a lot of opportunity for some guys, but a lot of broken hearts for others.
Of course, the tracks coming up in the championship hunt going to be Talladega tonight. Then next week, a track that is the polar opposite at the North Wilkesboro Speedway, followed by another blast to a high-speed drafted track around Michigan International Speedway. And we close things out with a westward swing at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Now, for the drivers who are in, it is, of course, Caleb McKinney, the driver that is starting up top alongside Wesley Triplett after playoff points have been awarded. Then you, of course, have Angel Hernandez, Colton Manick, Chase Manning, Brandon Puffenberger, Justin Barkley, Ryan Fleck, then, of course, Dennis Kane, Jared Larder, Joshua Neal, and Todd Slauson. So 12 drivers all set to fight it out for the next 4 weeks, and right now, 2 of those drivers have a distinct advantage over the other, but hey, 2 points, that's not much, and that can change in a heartbeat here at Talladega.
No, absolutely. At Talladega as well as next week at North Wilkesboro. We've seen how many times has that track basically turned into a roadblock on the front straightaway. So these next couple weeks, nobody's really going to be resting easy here for this championship.
Nobody will be resting easy for that championship indeed. Let's give a shout out, of course, before we get started here to the folks that keep the lights on for the Mid-Atlantic Racing Series. Tonight's race is brought to you by Admin Box. Admin Box is a purpose-built hardware tool designed to simplify race control for iRacing League admins. Rather than typing commands or relying on complex keybinds, Admin Box offers a physical button box that connects via USB with pre-programmed commands tailored specifically for race management tasks. Its buttons feature LED backlighting for easy visibility, making it ideal for fast-paced and high-pressure race environments. In essence, it transforms asynchronous typing into quick tactile control, allowing you to trigger cautions, manage drivers, handle pick commands, and more, all with the press of a button. Going over to www.adminbox.com. When purchasing, use code MARS-BOX for 10% off all orders, and check out what they have to offer. Don't forget to put in that code MARS-BOX for a 10% discount. And tonight's race also brought to you by 4 Mile Media and Design. 4 Mile provides professional creative services tailored to the racing community, such as custom paint schemes and graphics, race winner overlays and event graphics, and video clipping and editing. At 4 Mile, they make your racing moments look as sharp off the track as they do on it. Go on over to www.4mile.net and check them out today. Don't forget to use the code MARS15 for a discount. So all of that as the qualifying session has drawn to a close, and we are ready to take a rundown of who's going to be starting where for round one of the playoffs here this afternoon. It's going to be Ryan Fleck, playoff contender, starting on pole position alongside Corey Crowell down on that front row. Row 2 on the grid, it's Jonathan Nance. He is going to be alongside Wesley Triplett in the Dummy Racing number 74. Chase Manning brings it home in 5th. He is alongside the Boeing number 42 Supra of Angel Hernandez. Row number 4, it's Dominic Barbagallo in that number 77 Mustang. He is alongside Wayne Garland in the Lucas Oil Supra. Close out the top 10 then here, Sheldon. It's going to be Todd Slauson alongside Caleb McKinney.
And rolling off, row 6 is going to be Shane Griffin in the 4 machine with Brian White to the outside in the 48. Starting P13 is going to be Michael Smith with Ed Brown in the 21, starting P14. 15th place is going to be Kurt Sponsler with Josh Neal to the outside, followed by Colton Manick, Wesley Peebles, Brandon Kiger, and White Walker rounding out your top 20.
Back into 21st place, it's going to be Brandon Puffenbarger already in the drivers that have not put down qualifying laps this afternoon. He is alongside Aram Barnicle, and from there, row number 12, it's Michael Harris. He is alongside Dennis Kane. Row 13 on the grid, you got yourself Michael Gervey, who'll be starting at the tail end of the field, and then it's going to be Gary Wright bringing it up the tail. He will be alongside Gervey here this afternoon. So 26 cars then getting set to roll on out here this afternoon, Sheldon, and so far looking like a majority of them have gridded up on the racetrack, but only 16 have actually put down qualifying laps. The top 10, of course, qualifying within a tenth of a second. That stage coming in at lap 24 of 80 here this afternoon, and it's going to be a bit of a wild ride from start to finish here.
No, absolutely. I mean, you got 27 cars here at Talladega. You've also got the Xfinity car, which probably has one of the best super speedway packages on the service at the moment, at least for what you can get in live racing and officials. And couple all that together, the high-pressure race like today, and factor in, little bits like bumper hook still being very prevalent here at this car. I mean, you're going to see some stuff happen here today at Talladega that you wouldn't see anywhere else.
So the field going to work their way into turn numbers 3 and 4. And of course, one of the big conversations today is going to be all about patience, 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 patience. But it's playoff action, right? I mean, it's hard to be patient in a race like this, especially if you're starting this one kind of on the back foot towards the tail end of the top 12. Do you think we get some of that impatience created problems here early on?
I think some of your guys starting in the back, choosing to do so to kind of let these guys up at the front cycle themselves out. I don't know if it's going to be so much impatience it's going to be the problem here today as it is just going to be how difficult it is to really push with this car. So your guess is as good as mine, but we're about to see it all take place here.
So the field going to work their way into the Tri-Oval. We're happy you're joining us for racing action here on this fantastic Tuesday night into the United Rentals Restart Zone. It's go, go, go for the playoffs in Alabama. Cruising back around into turn number 3 for the first time this afternoon, and it is Ryan Fleck leading the way out front early on. But here comes Jonathan Nance shooting up from the inside line. He's going to now lead the top, and Crowell pushes him to the point. It's going to be Nance to lead the way at the end of the line. They're one in trouble already as one car drifted up, and Corey Crowell gets turned into the infield, spins around, pirouette after pirouette, and somehow only ends up being a one-car spin. And boy, Sheldon, that could have been the big one right there on lap 1. That is shocking that the field managed to get around that. Talk about a good job from the field to duck around that and keep their wits about them.
Yeah, that could have been catastrophic to start this race off. Very lucky for Crowell to be able to keep that thing in one piece. I don't even think he has a bent fender on the car. As we look at the left rear right now, a little bit on the left front from where he got into the door of the 9 machine of Ryan Fleck, but Fleck looks pretty clean. Good look at what happened here, and the 54 machine drifts up a little bit, grabs that left rear quarter pound. It's just a textbook Talladega trial incident. See it time and time again. And I don't know what the cone did to deserve that, but definitely got punished for it.
And that is some of that impatience that I was talking about, right? I mean, you had Chance Manning shooting for a gap up the middle, and there just wasn't the room, nor was it the time to make that move. I was speculating at the top of the show, I mean, hey, we got yourselves, it's playoff season, and we got a bunch of drivers that are going to be wanting to chomp at the bit and go at it, but I didn't expect to see that impatience kick off this early. I mean, talk about a poorly judged move.
Yeah, I was expecting these guys to play nice with each other to start out here tonight, but looks like I was certainly wrong on that one.
To be fair, quite a few cars also have damage as a result of this. Going evasive, the 22 car that you saw in there of Todd Slauson, he actually checked up into the top side of Garland. Garland caught the wall just a little bit as well. And then, of course, you got Barbagallo, who had to go down onto the apron as well. Quite a few drivers coming down pit road as well. And quite a bit of this is actually going to be for damage repairs here. So drivers can get themselves patched up and ready to go all over again. So you only had one car spin, but about 5 or 6 that actually caught some damage as a result of that.
Yeah, but you also got a lot of guys just coming down right now, topping off on fuel, making sure they have every advantage that they can possibly have at their favor to, try and bridge the gap here on pit stops. Nobody wants to go out with the least amount of fuel. You want to be able to make that decision as late as possible, really, to come down and top off when we get those green flag stops, if we do end up getting them here.
A lot of these drivers going to be spending quite a while here in pit road. And in fact, Corey Crowell out of the car. So is Chance Manning. So and in fact, Colton Manick as well. And Wesley Peoples. So we actually might get a few drivers here that could be down and out of the race here early on. That'd be surprising. I didn't think their damage on a lot of these cars was enough to make them terminal.
I think some of them might also just be checking the replay as well to figure out what exactly went down there.
Figure out who to be mad at next week in North Wilkesboro.
Oh, yeah. Figure out who to be mad at tonight. You still got a lot of race left. These cars, you can definitely fix them up. I mean, with the current damage model, you can pretty much come down pit road and just unload a backup car off the trailer and go out and have another stab at potentially winning. So these guys are just trying to figure out who they can and can't work with a little later on in the night and who they're going to leave out to dry any possibility they get.
So we're going to be coming to the choose cone this time by. Now, of course, that choose cone has had checkered history over the course of this league, and I believe our current number of days, it has been 7 days, which, of course, it means that the cone was hit last week. So we'll see how this is going to pan out for the field here this afternoon. They've hit that cone a couple times over the course of the season. Now, for those that aren't familiar, the way choose cone works, if you want the inside lane, you go below the cone. If you want the outside lane, you go above the cone. Simple enough. It still manages to get hit every once in a while. So this is going to be the big one, right? Because more often than not, it's a bit of a free-for-all, but here, track position can be so critical. And the top two picking the inside, and the first car up high going to be Angel Hernandez.
I just get so nervous every time they come to this choose cone because I've seen that choose cone get beat up pretty hard the past 3 weeks. And little fact, by the way, each time the choose cone has been hit, at least since I've been in the booth, it has been by a Toyota Supra. So
strange. That's a strange statistic, but does it say something about Toyota drivers?
I don't know, maybe a rivalry between Toyota and Volkswagen somewhere down the line. I'm not sure.
Ryan Fleck has picked the inside lane, and the second car that jumped to the inside, of course, being fellow Chase contender Wesley Triplett. He is in the number 2 spot on the inside line. And then, of course, Angel Hernandez sitting on pole up high. We did not get a full up-to-speed lap of racing. We had only just gotten up to speed out of turn 4 by the time that first caution came about. And apparently, Wesley Peoples with an outstanding black flag likely jumped the start on the initial run, so he's going to be forced into pit road. Oh, correction on that one. It was added during the pace lap, so likely an outstanding penalty from last week's race, which, again, there were quite a few incidents last week, Sheldon, so it would not be a terribly big surprise. Sometimes a lot of those penalties tend to carry over, and we're about to go green.
Yeah, it was definitely a long week last week. Hopefully we can, shake it off here, get some good long green flag racing going here at Talladega, but I don't know. I'll keep wishing. We'll see what happens here.
iRacing pace car makes the sharp left-hand turn to the pit road. And we will get set to duke it out all over again as the field works into the United Rentals restart zone. And we are back to green flag racing. Quite a big jump from Fleck. That could leave him vulnerable here coming down the front stretch into turn one.
And here comes the 74 machine of Wesley Triplett closing up to the back of the 9. Outside line not really getting formed up the way they need to be right now. As you see the 22 machine a little bit high coming into the corner. Now they're going to catch up to 42, but Fleck with the advantage here down the back straightaway. How big of a run is that outside line going to get, though?
Up to the top side. That outside lane is moving. Hernandez being shoved by Josh Neal. Looking to drive to the point early on here, coming down to the turn 3. Already just 20 laps to go in stage number 1 of 2 here this afternoon. Through turns 3 and 4, Ryan Fleck pulling clear from the inside line, but that outside lane is hard to be beat up top.
Hey, right now what you got about 4 or 5 cars just stacked nose to tail on that top line. It's going to make it really difficult for these guys on the bottom to be able to make anything happen. More cars you get going to that outside, as tight as they can pack them. The lack of checkups really leaves it to have a bit of favor here at Talladega, but see the surge here in the bottom through 1 and 2. The 9 machine of Fleck going to take the advantage back into the Alabama gang super stretch.
And Hernandez up to the outside. He is going to pull clear just about, not quite. That front bumper of the 9 still in there, and he's not going to get the chance to clear down low. This is the other challenge thing for Hernandez. Even if you do get clear, there we go, and oh my goodness, a bad bump, and that's going to be the big one on the front straightaway. Cars sliding, slamming everywhere into the infield, and at least 8-9 are involved.
I see at least 2 DNFs in that too.
And that time the field not so lucky to avoid the melee, and that was just a horribly executed bump on the outside line, and that one can be chalked up to the 82, unfortunately, in the mix. That one is Josh Neal, one that hooks the 42. Take another look. He just hooks that right rear end hard into the wall. Goes Josh Neal, and it's a mess from there.
Yeah, you knew it was coming when they came out of turn 4. That machine got just a little bit higher up the track until he was off-centered. And, your instant reaction in a situation like that is you kind of panic as you run on board with Michael Smith here and just look at that. Almost had it
nearly
cleared.
Shot the gap. That was about to be the best wreck avoidance we've seen, right up there with Sebastian Kinder from the Classic IndyCar Series Indy 500 a couple nights ago, but just got tagged right at the end. That hole closed up quicker than they would have liked.
It sounded like the engine popped in that one too, so rough night for him.
This is on board with Neal, and you can just see, that was...
There, out of 4, he gets a little off-center, and he just can't ever get back.
At that point, you just need to lift out. You're not recovering that bump. You just need to lift out and just reset, try again. The run's going to come later, but he tried to power through it, and it was the wrong move.
Yeah, it was also a little easier said than done, too, because he did have a car breathing down his neck as well. I think he might have had a little bit of help as well through 3 and 4, getting a little bit of a push from behind. Just never want to be in one of those, pushing the pusher situations. Difficult breaks to start out, but, it's kind of... It's the story with this B car at these super speedways. The bumpers just don't line up at all, and you end up with a lot of bumper hook situations. With the next-gen car, you just roll right over the bumper as hard as you want, and it doesn't seem like it really knocks that car in front of you loose unless you're in a Chevy. But with this car here, it's just as soon as you get to them, you've pretty much already got them hooked. It's just a matter of which way you turn the wheel is which direction they're going to end up going.
So for the second time tonight, that choose cone going to brave the ire of the field. And a host of drivers down pit road for this one. And a lot of drivers, like you were saying, going to be out of the race. I'm still seeing Michael Smith with a fire under the hood that they cannot get extinguished on pit road. Also down pit road still is Crowell, Nance, Hernandez, Slauson, Brown, Sponsler, Neal, Puffenberger, Kiger, Gervey. A couple of those drivers are making their way back out to the racetrack, but not a good number of them. I mean, heck, we collected about half the field in that one.
Yeah, that's the way she goes, though, sometimes here at Talladega. Definitely unfortunate race to start this thing out. You just kind of hope these guys will, single file themselves out and ride here for just a handful of laps, at least to the stage. Because you can't win it here, but you can definitely set yourself up with a million different ways to lose it.
Well, the pack going to come back around through turn numbers 3 and 4.
Well, it's really confusing looking from Dominic Barbagallo all the way through to Caleb McKinney as they're rocking the same exact paint this week.
Yeah, the team colors are out in full force here today.
I would hate to be on the box this week for them.
Don't mistake the number now. The number fonts are hardly easy to read either from a spotter stand, I'd imagine, especially at an angle, too. Here's the choose cone. Fleck going to go to the inside with Triplett, McKinney, and, well, are we surprised? All of the teammates going up to the outside line. No shock there. They can now control that top lane. Pretty split decision all the way through on who's going to be coming down and who's going to be going up.
Got a 3-stack team car is going to be starting this outside line off. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens here with total communication here among these drivers.
So the field going to fight their way back around to the Alabama Gang Super Stretch. And I'm already counting us down from the 26 cars that started this race down to just about 15 in this main pack. I'm counting 17, make that 19, with 4 more still trying to catch up to the tail end of the field here. And quite a few cars, as a result of that, have quite significant heavy damage here as well, Sheldon, especially on the front end, which means they're not going to be up there on horsepower.
Yeah, there's definitely some heavy hits there, and the one thing that's really going to change is, well, pretty much the entire dynamic of this race. Now, the complexion completely different from what we started out with. You got a lot less cars here, which means, the runs are going to be a little more difficult to get. And it's less cars to fill different lanes to make different grooves work. So it's really, if we keep on at this rate, it's going to turn into, hold the throttle and try to attach yourself to the car in front of you. Because there's not going to be as many opportunities now, especially with half the field damaged.
Coming around, turn numbers 3 and 4, and through the tri-oval into the United Rentals restart zone. Green flag back in the air, and Ryan Fleck takes us back to green flag racing. This time doesn't get a big jump out in front. That's good to make sure that the team up top running 1, 2, 3 on the outside line can't get a clear down to the bottom too quickly.
And here we go. Really good surge here for the bottom lane right now. Ryan Fleck getting a whole bunch of help from the 74 machine of Wesley Triplett down the back straightaway. They got the pull. But that 3-stack of cars up top starting to build the momentum and fight back here as we get to halfway through the straight.
On board with Dominic Barbagallo through turn numbers 3 and 4. The third car in line in the team 1, 2, 3 up top. And he has got Wayne Garland just behind him, kind of leaning off, giving a little bit of space. Off of turn 4, back to the start-finish line. It is going to be Ryan Fleck, it looks like, to lead the first lap back to green. Not quite. Caleb McKinney pushed out to the point just before they can get to the line. And this is good, right? Because these guys are going to be trying to see if they can get to the front. But I'm not a fan of how we keep seeing Aaron Barnicle moving up to the outside of him like that. That's the type of thing that exactly saw the big one kick off just about 5 laps ago.
It is so difficult. You want to push that car in front of you. You want to make your line move. You want to try and clear these guys on the inside lane. But it is so easy to overdo it with that front bumper. As we saw earlier, right now you see probably a little bit of a message back and forth. Barnicle laying off now coming into 3 and 4. Kind of off-centering himself. Probably trying to cool the nose on the car a little bit too, because you overheat so quick here in these Xfinity cars when you're bumper to bumper like that. But right now it just looks like that inside line just stacked up a little bit better. And there we go, big wiggle. Barnicle almost sends that machine around.
Turning lap 12 of 80. Still a long way to go in racing action here on Tuesday afternoon. Oh boy, McKinney really squeezing in. Wesley Triplett down on the inside line, and you saw them nearly make contact door to door down in turn 2 there. And that will drag back that outside or the inside lane and allow McKinney to draw even with race leader Ryan Fleck back into turn 3, sorry.
Yeah, that's absolutely what you need to do, though. You need to be aggressive with that side draft if you want to have a chance to take the lead here. Saw how much momentum he was able to surge off on that outside line by pulling that inside lane back. Here we are through the tri-oval, and that side draft right there sets up McKinney to lead us to lap 13. Lucky number 13 at that.
Ed Brown, deeper in the field, a car that they're about to catch up with the wheel-in number, that wheel-in number 21, and he is right now only running about 168 miles an hour. The rest of the field hitting 190 plus, so you're talking over 20 miles an hour speed difference. He has no chance on catching the tail end of this field, and look at the speed difference, Sheldon, as they blow by him.
That machine still torn up really bad from the wreck. I mean, you can see the curvature on that rear bumper. Every part of that car is just about beat up. Just going to need to put more caution since we have a little bit of a shuffle up at the front. Ryan Fleck and Wesley Triplett still working the bottom lane and in control. Fleck leads us across the stripe here. Looks like Barnicle got actually edged out of the pack here.
And taking a look at the replay, and there was Barnicle getting shuffled out. And it looks like he got a bit spooked by the lap car up high. I guess didn't realize there was a lap car there. And that is broken up. The team 1, 2, 3 on that outside line. Now it's just 1 and 2. Barbagallo has become the primary push for Caleb McKinney, whereas Barnicle has dropped all the way back to 5th on that outside groove behind Wesley Peoples and Wayne Garland. He's got a long way ahead if he wants to re-link up with his teammates.
That was a self-preservation move by Barnicle, though. You saw him kind of get a little bit of wiggle into 3, too. I think something just not about that car not liking the aero position it was in. Kind of jolts out a little bit. A lot of drivers will, try to fight to stay in line there. And Barnicle's smart enough to just take it up to the top, let everybody go back to the back, and collect his losses and come back for it later. See the outside line starting to surge here. Barbagallo getting up to the back bumper of his teammate there, of Caleb McKinney. But the inside line still stacked up pretty strong here through 3 and 4.
9 laps to go at the line this time by for stage 1. Before we'll have our first scheduled slowdown period. A bit of a wobble deeper in the field. Ryan Fleck led the lap that time by, and he got a bit of a bump there for Wesley Triplett. And guys getting a little bit dicey further back here as well. A bit of a gap forming between Garland and Wesley Peoples. Could Peoples be trying to set up a run in that 3rd lane?
And right Right now, the third lane, though, doesn't have enough strong cars up there as they almost lose it down the back straightaway again. A mistimed push from the 74 machine, a triplet to the back of Fleck, almost sending Fleck around. Did a great job because that was just as close to catastrophe as you could possibly get here.
Trying to make that run all the way down the front straightaway. And again, we see that outside lane of Dominic Barbagallo moving up to the outside. Now, it's not like he's trying to rear hook the car in front of him, right? What he's also doing here, he is trying to poke that grill out a bit to keep the car cool. It's super easy when you're running this close together for those temps to really creep up. And countless times here on the channel, we have seen drivers run those water temps a bit too high and to pop the motors and to create pretty big incidents, especially if it happens at the head of the field. So Barbagallo's making sure that that water stays as cool as you possibly can. This here on board with the back deck lid of Brian White.
Another thing, too, is part of the reason why I see such a big wobble from these cars, you know, second, third, fourth in line here at Talladega is it's mainly just the turbulent air as well. You get behind the car in front of you, and all you want to do is just, you know, follow them straight, not wiggling, and you're holding the wheel as straight as you possibly can, but that car is constantly juking at you all the way through the corners, down the straightaway, because once you take the air off the nose of these cars, once you pack the nose to the back bumper of the machine in front of you, it pretty much throws you around like you're behind a semi.
And finally, we see Caleb McKinney clear for the lead, and instantly he abandons his teammate up top. Now, what this does do, this allows for both of those drivers to control both lanes here in this field, but critically, they're not linked up. So if Barbagallo doesn't like what he sees, he doesn't have a choice. He's going to get a fierce shove from behind. That just happened there with Wayne Garland. And Garland all of a sudden shoving, and Ryan Fleck saw the opening. He jumps up to the outside, quickly retains the lead, and now the inside losing ground. Caleb McKinney dropping back.
Now the problem for Ryan Fleck, though, is he has two team machines behind him with Barbagallo and McKinney. And now they're on the bottom lane. They could leave him out to dry here at any moment. As you see the outside line now being fronted by Wayne Garland. Probably a bit of a better position for that 84 machine because he did not seem to be comfortable pushing. Now almost getting forced 3 wide. That was almost dicey.
And that has really disconjointed a good chunk of the pack. Wesley Triplett down to the inside, and it's a 3-car breakaway up front. McKinney, Barbagallo, and Fleck trying to see if they can get away from the pack, but that outside lane is charging. Wayne Garland pushed by Wesley Peoples making a move, and up top, a third lane opening up. Chance Manning along with R11 Barnico going up to the high side of turn 1. Barnico, though, going to quickly get abandoned as Chance Manning jumps back down to the inside.
Yeah, I think Manning right now is just trying to kind of shovel these guys out of the way a little bit, try and get himself back up at the front. Remember, started up here in the front of the field, got caught up in that wreck early on lap 1, had to go all the way to the back of the pack, fix damage, got the EOL, and now he's trying to pull himself back into the hunt here as we get ready to close in on the ending of the first stage.
It's going to be 4 laps to go when we get to the end of this lap here. Dominic Barbagallo up front. Caleb McKinney in second. Ryan Fleck quickly overtaking McKinney to put himself into the number 2 spot. And this is critical, right? Because points do get awarded here in the stage. So that is why we see a lot of this desperation quickly started to pick up for a lot of drivers, especially those that are contending for a championship.
Say the more things change, the more they stay the same. Same cars leading the outside lane and the same cars leading the bottom as we had pretty much this entire run. A huge shove to the back of the 77 from the 76 and McKinney. That's going to open the opportunity for Barbagallo to duck back down in front of the 9 machine of Ryan Fleck. Now the outside line going to stall out here for a little bit, but don't be surprised if Ryan Fleck doesn't duck back out and pretty much rehash the same move he did a couple laps ago, because you know he wants to lead every lap. And there it is.
Quickly jumping back up the outside line. Whoa! Wesley Triplett forces each in the middle. Big bump to the back end of Ryan Fleck. That causes a massive checkup. And Caleb McKinney shooting 3 wide up the middle here. 2 laps to go in the stage. And we're 3 by 3 wide up front. Somehow they keep it together for now.
They'll never make it back around like this. I can promise you that. But they're going to try. Ryan Fleck leading the outside line charge now. All the way up against the fence here down the back straightaway. Middle lane breaks up a little bit here. That gives the surge to the top again. A little bit of contact. Bumper hook. Almost a wreck on the back straightaway. But here comes Ryan Fleck with all the help in the world from Wesley Triplett, leading it into 3, but the bottom line surging back as Barbagallo takes it over.
Coming off of turn number 4, looking for the final lap in stage number 1, this time by Ryan Fleck. Another huge shot to the shorts, courtesy of Wesley Triplett. That third lane has got nothing up top. Right now, Barbagallo still leads the way. Brian White right behind him. And Michael Harris being pinched down to the inside. Caleb McKinney trying to shoot for the outside. Final lap in stage 1.
Through 1 and 2, Dominic Barbagallo with the advantage. Brian White all over the back bumper. Down the back straightaway, no surge up top yet.
And now Barbagallo going up to help his teammate Caleb McKinney. He is given a bad shove from Wayne Garland, and boy, there is no pace being shown here. Look at the third lane. Chance Manning up top, being pushed by Ryan Fleck, trying to go around the outside line. Brian White clear on the inside. Michael Harris clear with them. And out of turn number 4, 2 lap cars in the way. They got to get below that apron here. They're not going to move out of the way. And it's going to look to be pandemonium. It's going to be Brian White taking the win in stage 1. And just in time as they caught lap traffic and had that caution not come out what it did, that could have been disastrous.
What a finish for the first stage. That was almost chaos.
And now, of course, those 2 lap cars, because they managed to remain on the lead lap, they're going to get their laps back here. They're going to get waved back around the field because they never officially lost the lap. But boy, that was a dangerous game for Angel Hernandez and Todd Sloss to be playing there, coming to the line. But man, what a final couple laps there in stage 1.
I will say one thing, though. I think those lap cars were the saving grace. I think that little bit of slipstream that Brian White was able to pull off him was the difference maker to give him the extra toe he needed to pull from that outside line. I think if those 2 lappers weren't there, it would have been a lot closer at the stripe.
And now, of course, they have to slow up and wait for the iRacing pace car. And there you see the replay of that finish. And look at that, 3 by 3 by 3 wide as they came across the line. That was absolutely fantastic. A lot of aggression being shown, but now these guys have a chance to reset, claw it back, and take a nice big breath and settle things out for the finish of the race. Pace cars by, and this should see just about everybody here coming to pit road, I'd imagine.
Brian White leading the fuel down, getting ready to take his top off fuel here in the 48 machine. They're a really hard-fought stage win. I mean, I don't know about you. I didn't have Brian White as the name I picked out of the hat for getting that one done, but showed up when it mattered the most here in the closing laps.
Brian White, first in, looking to be first out. No surprises here. So Brian White leaves pit road after taking fuel only. Everyone else, bit of a mixed call. Some drivers taking tires, some drivers taking fuel. Now, tires not going to do all that much for you at Talladega. If anything, it just helps you maintain a little bit more control when you're in the middle of the pack.
Yeah, I typically stay away from the tires as much as I can here myself. This one, it's all about getting that quick pit stop.
Nobody that was on the lead lap has stayed out under this yellow flag, it's worth noting. Even the 2 lap cars that we saw just about impede our battle to the line, they both came down pit road as well. And so it'll be a run for the choose cone this time by. And Sheldon, this race has only just begun.
Yeah, I got a good feeling that the chaos is definitely not over for the night either. Because that was all just for stage win. I can't imagine what's going to come down to when it comes to a race win here this evening.
So all of this as we get set to see who will be starting where for the kickoff here in Stage 2. Will Brian White go low? Will he go high? That is the big ticket question here in this one. Couple of top-offs coming out of pit road. White takes the inside. Barbagallo up high. Interestingly enough, the teammates not linking up this time. There was a car between them with Chance Manning, so McKinney has gone to the inside lane for the restart, while his sister car going up top. So we are set to return to racing action here, and bar any further cautions, this one should see us go green to the end. So Sheldon, after a wild stage 1 here, thoughts? Do you think we're going to be seeing this aggression continue all the way throughout, or are we going to be seeing cooler heads prevailing for at least the next 20, 40 laps or so?
I think it's probably about to ramp up more than you and I could predict. I'm expecting at least one more big wreck here in this segment, and then for that, I think everybody's going to kind of single file to them closing laps. As much as I hate to say it, I don't think we're done with the pace car and choose cone this evening.
You know, call me crazy. I don't think we are either. I think you got a spot-on assessment for that. So the iRacing pace car pulls into pit road, and Barney the flagman will eagerly await to send this field right back to the green flag. And racing kicks off once again for Stage 2 here for the Mid-Atlantic Racing Series in their first playoff race at Talladega.
Everybody's cycling up pretty clean here through 1 and 2. Brian White with a bit of a disadvantage. The entire inside lane just jumps up to the top, but here comes the 54 machine, a Chance Manning coming down there to get that 48 a hand. And 3 wide. Oh, 4 wide out of turn 2 down the back straightaway.
4 wide, and quickly backing out is going to be Brian White. He wanted nothing to do with that. And what was that about? Let it cooler heads prevail? Evidently not. And down to the inside goes Ryan Fleck. Wesley Triplett follows him down. And all of a sudden, what this has done, this has allowed for Barnicle, McKinney, and Barbagallo to all link up with one another once again up high.
Look at this. You figured out who's going to work with who here in this first stage. Now it's just who's going to execute. As we come across the stripe right now, Triplett leading a lap here at Talladega. That outside line, though, trying to build the charge here out of turn 2. All 3 of those cars stacked together here. Teammates working at it. Down the back straightaway, that line being led by Barbagallo. I figured we'd have more side-by-side there at the pack, but it looks like the rest of these guys just kind of opting to single-file themselves down here in the bottom. They know how important it is just to be able to finish here if you want to have an opportunity to win tonight.
So Wesley Triplett, for the first time today, is going to lead a lap here at the Talladega Superspeedway. Primary pusher on that inside line going to be Ryan Fleck. At the tail end of the field, Todd Slauson, Angel Hernandez, and Ed Brown losing touch with the leading pack relatively early on. That is something that we saw at the end of stage 1 as well. And even further back, you see quite a few drivers still leaving a bit of a hole here. I think some guys are a little bit nervous with that 4 wide that we saw to kick off stage 2, and they're not too keen on getting too close up. But they want to make sure they have an escape path if something happens up front.
That's the last thing you want to do is come out here and get caught in a wreck this early in.
So back up to the high side for Wesley Peebles. And you're right on board with Wesley Triplett now, as he's got a good eye on Barbagallo and co. making their way up top. By the way, that 3-car train up there, that is the only cars that have really taken to the outside line. Everybody else has jumped into a single file line down low.
Yeah, it's impressive that they're able to hold that much momentum. It's just a 3-car train on that outside line. It shows how strong a car they have, but it also shows you how good, and you're seeing it right now out of the window, that 77 machine of Barbagallo is at utilizing that side draft to pull that inside lane back to him. That car on that outside line isn't doing a good job being aggressive, being pretty much glued to the right side door. The guys leading on the low line, that outside line crumbles every time. So great work here for these guys in that top lane to really make it work.
Working lap 30 of 80. It's going to be 50 laps to go at the line.
Also, this is a beautiful view we have on board with Chance Manning. That's just about what you're able to see when you're behind the car in front of you. But problem is, in the driver's seat, you see just a little bit less. Can't really see much of anything here at these super speedways, especially with the way the greenhouse on the car sits nowadays. You can't even really see through the window on the guy in front of you. There we go. You see that for about 100 or so laps, and then there's going to be one point where you see smoke, or you think you see smoke, but you figure you don't. Then next thing you know, you see somebody's door number.
You really got to go off of instincts here a lot when you're at a track like Talladega, because, I mean, you can't, this is a great look on board the Barnacle, right? You can't see what's more than a car length in front of you. So if you see that puff of smoke, it's not uncommon to see a lot of drivers lifting just instinctively, because if you keep that foot to the floor, like you said, you're going to be seeing some of these doors soon, and then sooner or later, someone is going to be seeing your door number before too long.
It's absolutely the equivalent to driving through a hurricane, because you have no idea what's going to happen in front of you, and the only thing that you can see in front of you is the taillights on the guy in front. See that outside line starting to get formed up a little bit better now. 4 cars up there. Barbagallo not able to get the job done, though. It's a 74 machine of Triplett pulls ahead again. A lot of help he's getting from that 9 machine of Ryan Fleck, and Ryan Fleck proving to be the better pusher here out of this duo.
For the time being, at least, but that outside lane starting to garner some more help all the way up to the outside to help them keep momentum rolling forward. You've got Wesley Peebles, Kurt Sponsler, and Dennis Kane that have all jumped up to the high side of the racetrack. Wesley Triplett, oh boy, kind of hovered around both lanes. Can't do that too often. That is inadvertently give a massive run to the outside line. They're able to get a sniff of that draft, and around they go.
Huge run coming into turn 3 for Barbagallo. But it evaporates pretty quick. You see Fleck pretty much has the tires lifted up on that 74 machine of Triplett, pushing him all the way through the corner down to the tri-oval. Great shove for Triplett there. That's going to give him the advantage here, come through the tri-oval, but here they come surging again on the top. Barbagallo gets close to the door, almost a hip check here at the line.
Nearly, but so far able to still keep this one.
Oh, smoke one. Oh,
someone just blew the motor, and there we go. And it's the big one, part 2, back of the field, and Ryan Fleck. He just did exactly what we remember. We were talking about this early in the show, right, about how drivers kept making those looks out to the outside, because just in case you might pop the motor. Well, Ryan Fleck's motor just went kaboom.
That is going to be a day ender for the 9 machine. Such a shame. Showed so much pace, and I think the person this hurts the worst long term, though, it's going to be the 74 machine of Triplett, because he doesn't have a helper anymore.
And no help so far for Wesley Triplett as a result. And boy, tough break there for Ryan Fleck. And of course, for Chance Manning, the car that ran him over, nothing that he could have done. There was nowhere for him to go. Same story for Wayne Garland, Brian White, Michael Harris, other cars that got involved. I saw Dennis Kane just barely get caught up in that. And that was the ride on board with Fleck. I think one of the biggest hits came from Garland into the outside wall.
That's the dangers of these super speedways, though. You know, you need to push the car in front of you, but at some point you got to roll off, get air to the nose, because once that engine's gone, you can't put the factory smoke back in those wires.
Well, the yellow flag is back out here at the Talladega Super Speedway for the first time now in Stage 2. And you take a ride on board here now with Chance Manning, and this was the... Man, never had a chance to avoid that. Never saw it coming, and you feel bad, right? 'Cause, I mean, he is a guy that's been running good all day long, hasn't put a foot wrong, and yet that's all she wrote. Of course, the Mid-Atlantic Racing Series has had itself quite a bit of excitement so far here in this one, and we see drivers come down pit road. I'm surprised if at least a couple didn't think about it. But at least the top of the field, and yep, sure enough, pretty much the entire field making their way into the box this time through. Quite a few teams hosting afternoon s'mores parties in their pit stalls. I don't know if now is the best time to have that going, but still, hey, s'mores are good. No one's going to complain about them, I'm sure. Barbagallo, the first car out of pit road, followed by Triplett, Barnacle, and McKinney. They're looking set to control this entire race at this point onward. Coming up on Friday night here on Green Flag TV, and of course Friday night, the first batch of racing to be had on Green Flag TV after today, because of course a good chunk of leagues are off for American Thanksgiving this week. It is the Zero Torque Racing League out of the Kansas Speedway for race number 8 of their championship, and then of course on Sunday, the Precision Automobile Club Esports will be taken to the Thruxton Circuit for our Thruxton debut on Green Flag TV. And then, of course, the High Tide Racing League Premier Series will be out at Bristol Motor Speedway next Monday. And then, of course, we're back with more from ours at North Wilkesboro.
Speaking of chaos, talk about Bristol, man. It's been pretty wild here the past couple years. Especially with the new reconfiguration that they did with the track grooves and everything. It's a little more bottom line dominant than it used to be.
Well, the field going to get set for the choose cone here this time by Barbagallo, Triplett, Barnacle, McKinney will be the next drivers up. And out of the 26 cars that started this race, we are already down to just 17 still on the racetrack.
So through the process of elimination, who do you think who think's the best bet here? You know, we've made it about halfway.
Oh boy!
Plus, oh my lord! Oh, we almost took one of them out.
Sorry to cut you off there on that one. There was a really last-minute course correction from Barbagallo. Really tried to fake out the field and nearly hit the cone.
I hope that they are giving him hazard pay for this.
Oh, they better be, because drivers sure are not adhering by the OSHA posters that our producer Dustin Allis has put up all around the facility. But still, the number of days that the choose cone has been hit remains at 7.
There's still time. we still got a ways to go.
You're not wrong.
We'll be knocking that 7 off here in a little bit, working on the rollback here on Green Flag TV tonight.
The 4 digits is, of course, a hopeful number. That would imply that we've gone for, we're talking over 3 calendar years without hitting the choose code.
I think you could have just set it to the. I mean, honestly, we could be thinking about putting decimals in there now.
Do you think we? Do you think that number surpasses 30? We'll make it a month. Oh, there we go. 7.0. I don't. 7.0. That's only 5 minutes of the month. It's been longer than that. I like giving our producer Dustin Dallas a hard time behind the scenes here. Sometimes usually I'm the one being given a hard time for things, but I don't often get to harass producers while on call. It's a nice change of pace from time to time. But Fields, grit it on up here, and we're ready to go. Dominic Barbagallo with a good launch. Oh, he kind of missed the shift, though, getting into third, and that allows for Caleb McKinney to close the back. More critically, it allows for Wesley Triplett to just barely poke the nose out in front, up on the outside. And Barbagallo driving to the point.
The outside line pretty much evaporating, though. Only 2 cars pushing that train. Inside lane getting the pull here down the back straightaways. Everybody single files out to the bottom. A little bit of indecision back there. 4th car in line, moving back up to the out. I think is that Peebles?
Oh boy, a massive look to the inside for Wesley Peebles up top, opening up that 3rd lane all by himself. And that's going to do nothing but drag back everybody else. And all of a sudden, a big correction up high. Barbagallo nearly turned himself across the nose of Triplett. That scares Triplett up high.
Yeah, that was almost a big one. You saw how sideways Triplett was, but here comes that 3rd car on the outside again. People's not giving up, trying to make something work here, and just begging that somebody will go with them. And that's honestly some pretty impressive single-car speed. But you see now the momentum starting to stall out as he falls back into the clutches of the field here.
Almost thought about it again, as we're going to remain 2 by 2 as the field comes down in the round off of turn number 4. And all of these guys trying to make ground. So far, it is still Barbagallo who leads the way, though, up front. Not a lot of movement being shown on that inside lane. Anybody trying to open up a 3rd lane is doing it from the outside.
I just do not think that we are done just yet.
Halfway home this time by. It'll be 40 down, 40 to go. And a lot that can still happen in 100 miles of racing here. Chance Manning continuing to hold his car right in the middle of the field, while Wesley Triplett jumps up to that outside line. And so far, Triplett still has not been able to find a way to get clear up front. That outside lane not being a lot of help right now.
No, and I think part of that might also be a little bit by design, too. You know, you got 2 of those team cars down the bottom, 1 up on the outside just astray. Probably not trying to be too aggressive, put himself or his teammates in a bad position, especially with the pushing this early in the race.
It's not a bad strategy, right? I mean, Barnico can help out his teammates by making sure that Triplett can maintain alongside with Kurt Sponsler to keep Sponsler from jumping up to the outside, but not push him enough that he can actually make a run for the lead. The one thing that he's not going to be able to control is if drivers behind like Manning or Peebles get tired of waiting and want to open up a 3rd lane.
Yeah, the problem is if they try to do that, you know, if they go to the top, they're going to stall themselves out, go through the middle, possibility reckon. I don't think Manning wants to thread it 3 down the middle right now, especially after what happened earlier in the race to start things off. I think he's just content to ride. He knows that he's here on borrowed time at this moment.
And speaking of getting impatient, there goes Wesley Peoples. We saw him do this once already. He's doing it again, trying to open up that third lane to the outside of the racetrack. Jumping all the way up to the outside, but with no help, he can't go far.
Yeah, it's going to stall out just as quick as he starts it up, though. It's just so difficult to make anything happen on that third lane alone, or just period, let alone doing it on your own. There's a big surge on the outside line now, though. Triplet getting up just about door to door with Barbagallo here through 1 and 2. Best race had so far. You see him try to juke it down to the bottom of the track here to try and pull a little bit of side draft. A little bit of a slide up there, though, for the 76 machine of McKinney. But the back straightaway, outside line with the momentum right now as Triplet leads for just a second into turn 3.
Still 2-2 as we continue to fight our way into the second half of racing action this afternoon. Oh boy, and up front, the two lanes of Barbagallo and Triplet nearly coming together as that track narrows up. They're able to hold it together, hold it out of each other, but that has caused Wesley Triplet to drop like a stone. And all of a sudden, that outside lane might be in trouble.
Yeah, they're stalling back pretty quick here down the back straightaway, but a huge shot of momentum, though, to the back of Triplet. Barkle not giving up, giving him a huge shove all the way down the super stretch into turn 3. It'll at least catch him up to the third row. And it looks like it looked like people was about to get impatient again and try to make a third lane.
So Wesley Triplet continues to lead that outside groove. Dominic Barbagallo continues to lead the inside. 5 cars are up high. Everybody else is lined up down low, although they have a 6th jumping over the back of the field and going to join them. That's, I think, Jonathan Nance trying to get up there to the front runners up top, and he's got a big run going with them. Do you think Nance goes for 3 here?
I don't know, man. I mean, honestly, Nance has had such a quiet night. It's kind of hard to predict what he's going to do. I mean, we haven't mentioned him really since we started this thing off. That 8 machine got caught up in that first incident. It's just kind of rode around the back of the pack all race. But it is starting to be crunch time, and if there's one thing I know, anybody that slaps an 8 decal on a car, they try a little bit extra harder here at the super speedways. Run aboard with Nance here through 1 and 2, starting to tuck up to the back of this train of cars in the outside lane. A little indecisive, though, on where he wants to be.
Well, he's not going to go for 3 wide. I thought he might with the amount of closing speed that we saw. So he's actually going to just lift out and instead just content to run behind 5th place on that outside groove.
I think he was maybe thinking about it, but he noticed going into the corner, you see a lot of seesaw here around 3rd, 4th on the bottom. And it's the last thing you want to do is be in the middle of that, and somebody just slides up a little bit into you.
Now he's trying for 3 wide, up to the outside, but again, no help up there with him. So he's going to drag Dennis Kane back. Now they are going to be able to close into that outside groove here, coming out of turn 2. But the problem, again, Nance doesn't have any help, so he's got to get down to the middle line quickly.
I think right now he's just trying to see how much momentum he can build on that top line on his own.
Well, the answer is not a lot. You could never build a lot on the outside line by yourself. That said, Wesley Peoples just tried to have a look to the middle lane as well, and I don't think he realized that the 8 was trying to find the middle groove as well, so they're going to end up ducking back in light. Peoples down to the inside as Dennis Kane quickly shuts the door, but hey, Jonathan Nance completed this objective of at least moving up 1 spot. Quickly going to the outside. Hey, it worked for one. Let's try it again. See what happens. Now he's on the outside of Chance Manning. Again, trying to see if he can get some momentum going up top. Maybe hoping Dennis Kane goes with him and they can open up a third groove. But, well, Kane didn't go with them. But Wesley Peoples sure did, jumping up from the inside line. That said, that run doesn't look like it's going to go much places here, Sheldon, as Wesley Peoples struggling to close up to the back of Jonathan Nance now out of turn 2.
Yeah, the outside line just struggling. They need a couple more cars up there to make it work.
Boy. Well, don't give him a bump so hard that you cause him to quit the wall. And, oh boy, what in the world? A massive checkup all of a sudden out of nowhere, middle of the field. I think Chance Manning almost got turned down to the inside of the racetrack. Started kind of around where Manning was. Not sure quite what happened, but a massive stack with the field, and this is going to get interesting as they start to close back into each other.
This right here, you're going to have a lot of cars building up a lot of crazy runs. This is where we could have a really dicey incident, as we see right there, a little off center of the front, almost around. And around the outside line, here comes Nance again, trying to make something happen as we get a look at the replay on what happened there. And yeah, Manning just a little bit of an ill-timed push from behind, almost loses it. But everybody does a great job keeping it off him. He does a great job keeping the thing pointing in the right direction.
Continuing to make ground as Wesley Triplett still leads that outside lane. Dominic Barbagallo still leading the inside. Now, the critical thing about these drivers and the lines that they're leading, right, you got to remember they're braking through the air. They're wasting more fuel than anybody else here in this race. So they are at risk of running out of fuel a lap or two early. If they don't want to have that happen, one of the best options would be to give up the lead of these lines and fade to the back.
The best thing for these guys, too, though, is also the fact that they have, teammates. They have help. They have friends out here they've been working with all race long. So they know that if one of them is going to go down, they're all going to go down together. They at least have somebody to work with. It's not as detrimental if you're just, a single car out there and you decide you want to try and lead every lap. If you do that, everybody else is going to fall in line behind you. Then they'll stay at those extra 2 laps and let you, take yourself out of it. That was dicey right there for Triplett on the outside lane, washed up coming into turn 1. Oh, 3 wide down the middle. Chance Manning getting pushed out here. As people sense it down the middle into turn 3.
And Barbagallo and McKinney both jumping down to the inside.
Oh,
trouble and around.
Manning.
Down to the inside. It's going to be Josh Neal spinning into the infield grass. No caution flag. We're going to stay green. And he goes for a long slide to the infield and keeps it together. Now, the car that hit him was Wesley Peoples, and that was off of a bad bump from Chance Manning. And lucky enough to, I think, just avoid getting the penalty for an unsafe pit and trip it down to the inside.
Look at this, everybody single filing out here. Definitely going to have a round of pit stops. Look at the ride through the grass. Did he clip the left sides on the pit road there too?
No, he did not. He would have gotten a black flag if he did.
That's what I was worried about. He got real close to it. Lucky break.
He got close, but he managed to keep it together. So we've lost another car off of the leading pack here in this one. And a lot of drivers all of a sudden have jumped to the inside in preparation of green flag stops here, I reckon.
That could have been a lot bigger than it was, though.
No kidding.
A little side swipe by Peebles there. The fact that he didn't get sent around as well is almost miraculous. See the outside line now being led by the 66 machine of Barnacle with a lot of help from the 54 of Manning. And look at how much momentum they're making up here on this top line. I think we got a little bit of fuel saving going on down low.
And so the fighting continues. With no end in sight, Barnacle and Chance Manning, they remain the two cars up top.
Look at that. Barnacle decides to stay out there and pull that 54 machine down in and mix things up with his teammates. I figured Barnacle was going to leave him out to dry, but I guess he figured since he stuck with him all the way through the pack, might as well bring him in. You see the rest of those cars kind of give him a little bit of room, a little bit of leeway here. Manning going to tuck into second place here. That's a pretty good surge in spots for him in the 54. What a recovery drive for Chance, too. You know, getting caught up in that wreck on the first lap, get the EOL sent all the way to the back of the packs, had to drive his way through, miss a couple big wrecks. He's got the car in one piece and just putting together a good, clean super speedway race here if he could just bring it home.
So Barnacle continues the run, and for really the first time all night long, you find yourself running single file all the way throughout this field. A couple cars, of course, sitting still off the pace. Got Todd Slauson, Ed Brown, Josh Neal. Those are the three cars that are not linked up with this main pack. But everyone else content to just run single file.
Everybody knows they got that pit stop coming up. They're probably trying to save a little bit of extra fuel, too. Don't want to get out there and push the needle too much right now and, set yourself up into a detriment for the finish of this thing. And, super speedway racing's fun. Xfinity car's fun, but the combo can get really scary sometimes. And I think these guys have realized that they've had a lot of big breaks where they've missed what could have been some massive crashes. I think they're just trying to catch their breath here and, have a clean, honest run to the finish.
Critically, we've been green for almost 20 laps, right? So that means that we are just moments away from our first run of green flag pit stops. The fuel, of course, being limited to just 65% in these tanks. Means we can only go about, I think maybe 20, 25 laps at most at a track like this.
Somewhere in that ballpark. We're definitely getting close to it here. See, Aaron Barnacle still leading the pack with Chance Manning running second. Third, Barbagallo with McKinney in fourth. And rounding at the top five is Kurt Sponsler. Kurt, that's somebody we haven't talked about all race. Running pretty good here. Which I guess you can expect. You see the old Dale Earnhardt Jr. colors thrown on one of these Camaros.
I feel like we're kind of in a game of chicken right now. Nobody wants to be the first one in, especially if you don't have a teammate to work with, right? So everybody's kind of looking at everybody else, seeing who's going to fold and who's going to abandon the field to go down pit road. Of course, it's most likely to come from Barnacle at the head of the field because he's been leading a lot of this group without any way to conserve fuel.
And Barnacle definitely one of those guys with a massive detriment on fuel. I got to say Barbagallo as well. Probably going to be looking to come down pretty quick too. You know how many laps he spent up there at the front working the bottom lane. But I got a good feeling it's going to be one car comes in, the entire field's going to come with him.
Oh, I agree. Yeah, you just need that one guy to finally blink and make the call, and then it'll be bringing everybody else in with him.
I say though, hats off to these guys. We are getting a nice long green flag run here, which I kind of thought we might have been allergic to today. You know how Talladega tends to go. But probably doing a good job giving each other a little bit of give and take here.
Well, they are now. They certainly weren't doing that in the opening stage where it felt like we couldn't go more than 5 or 10 laps without us having a problem. But, now that we've gotten ourselves a bit of green flag running in, of course, everybody's focused up now at the end of the race and those end-of-race strategies. There's no stress on waiting for another mid-race break to come in and shake things up.
It's definitely time to just log laps. A lot of these guys just don't want to be stuck up on the outside line when everybody comes down for pits either.
Here we go. Green flag stops underway as everyone fading out. Oh, hold on. Contact behind. And cars going around to the back. Wesley Peebles and Gary Wright both go around. They somehow managed to keep it within the pit entry lane.
Peebles is incredibly lucky that he was able to get that car woed up, because if he had gone over that yellow line, that would have been a 40-second hold right there. Oh, Kurt Sponsler, the 49 machine, misses his box substantially here.
So does Jonathan Nance.
A lot of time.
Jonathan Nance as well, one of the drivers I was looking at, he moves up 3 wide on the outside. He also misses his stall, and that could very well cost these guys a chance at linking up with the leading pack.
You don't want to have happen is we got a 4-car pack here getting ready to dive in themselves for their last splash of fuel. Get a look at the replay on what happened.
Just one car locked up and couldn't slow down in time. I always say that Talladega is one of the hardest pit roads to get on, and Daytona for that matter. But it's not the slowing down to, from 190 miles an hour down to just 55. That's the easy part. The hard part is avoiding everybody else trying to do the same thing on all sides of you.
Oh, yeah. It gets really risky coming down pit road like that. Also, finding out now from pit road that Aaron Barnacle has received a penalty.
And going to try to get a look on. Oh, yeah, it was speeding on pit exit. Pit road speed, 55 miles an hour. He hit 57 at several points through pit road.
You got to be careful with that. We used to be able to get away with that, a couple builds ago, but with the UI change, it is a lot more cutthroat on giving you a penalty. You can just barely go one over for about a 16th of a second, it feels like, and it'll bop you.
So all of a sudden, we're down to just a 4-car pack at the head of the field. Chance Manning, Caleb McKinney, Dominic Barbagallo, and Ahram Barnacle, although Barnacle is coming down pit road now to serve that black flag. Then you got Kane and everybody else just trying to link up after they had numerous issues getting onto pit road.
That's such a devastating blow for Barnacle. Somebody that's looked like he was going to be a big part of the picture coming to the checkered flag today. Let a bunch of laps, ran up front, and unfortunately it's come down to serve a penalty, and that will put him a lap down once everything cycles through. You see Manning getting out of the toe of the lap car. 82 machine down on the bottom line and getting hung out to dry. Here comes the 76, diving down to the inside. Caleb McKinney making the pass here for the lead.
So the pass for the lead is going to be complete. And they will have Josh Neal, who is attempting to link up with the back end of them as well. Now, Josh Neal has come down for his pit stop as well. So he will be looking to become the 4th car in this train if he can catch up. It doesn't have any help, though. Now the big question is, can this pack of 6 behind them run these guys down?
Well, my main question right now, too, is who's going to hook somebody around 15th on back to get a caution? Because it seems to always be convenient here on these super speedways once you get that big breakaway and a couple guys get away because of the pit stop, that somebody just somehow way in the field accidentally sent somebody for a ride.
Well, a lot of questions still yet to be had. We are under 20 laps to go here at Talladega. We'll give ourselves a little bit of a rest here, and we'll let you feel the noise as you ride on board with Brandon Puffenberger. Corey Crowell continuing to lead the way in that second pack along with Wesley Triplett. Up front, it remains a 3-car breakaway between Caleb McKinney, Chance Manning, and Dominic Barbagallo. Now with just 10 laps to go. Now Manning jumping out to the outside line, going to allow for Barbagallo to link up with his teammate. Now, critically, these guys like the cycling for temperature here, and critically here as well, that second pack, the last lap, they were about 0.3 quicker than the front runners.
They're starting to reel themselves in here, but it's going to be too low too late. I mean, there's only 10 laps to go. There's a huge gaggle of cars, though. If they just stay in line and stay formed up well enough, they'll be getting there maybe just in time for the finish.
Right now, 4 seconds between the leaders of the two packs. And you can see, I mean, Triplett's pack has been closing these guys in pretty consistently over the last several laps. So they have been closing, but like you say, they haven't been closing quick enough is the problem.
Yeah, right there you see the advantage actually going back to that first pack now, pulling it back up to 4.2. It was just 4 flat through the trial last time, so these guys really need to get on it and really need to stay organized to do something. They're just, I don't think they got the time to do it the way that they're formed up right now. I mean, we know that the goal is, you know, to kind of have just 3 or 4 really fast cars. You can slip away after these pit stops, and that looks like it's what's paying off right now. And it's been very orderly in this front pack. You know, these guys have been swapping each other out once the temps roll up. A little too much for the car in the middle, and you know, it's been a lot of oh, I just lost my train of thought there, guys. Sorry. Getting old, I guess.
Well, Wesley Peebles, the one car on the outside of that secondary pack, but he is a lap down, so he is just slowing these guys down by dragging them back, while the top 3 continue to run line of stern. I don't think anything's going to really happen in this front pack until we're on the final lap, but I can almost guarantee you Barbagallo's going to be more worried about playing defense for McKinney than actually going for the win himself.
Yeah, right now, the one person I don't want to be is I don't want to be Chance Manning. He got absolutely no help here. You know these two are going to stick to each other's backs regardless what happens here. But the good news for Manning is it is going to be a good point stay, though, because the top 3 start this thing off, especially when, you know, some of our championship hopefuls had stumbles today. It's a great way to roll yourself in.
And there is that second group still led by Wet Triplett. But these guys are having a rough time. They are trying to close in, but they're almost getting too aggressive with each other because they're not gaining up anymore now.
Yeah, something's got to give here in this pack. They got to get something reshuffled somewhere, maybe get a faster car up at the front of it. Which, it's surprising because, you know, we've seen how quick Triplett has been all day. It's insane that he's not able to get the run that he needs right now. I think that goes to show you how well that 9 machine and him were working in unison earlier.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, there's been a lot of teamwork being done throughout the course of the field, but, you know, we're approaching 5 laps to go, and, I mean, sooner or later, these guys in the back here, they're going to have to accept, hey, there's no chance we're getting there. I think it's time to just put the hammer down and go for it, and Brandon Puffenbarger has to drop out because of the temps.
Yeah, drops out, tags the fence a little bit there, too. Slows himself down a lot coming into turn 3. A smart move for Puffenbarger. You can't make any points if you don't make it to the finish.
We've already seen one big crash today from a car blowing it up and everybody running into the back of him. He does not want to be the second driver that befalls such a fate here in this race. Wesley Triplett unconcerned. He remains up front, but now Corey Crowell becomes the primary pusher in Pack 2.
That's what Corey's able to do. He's a little too aggressive there in the corner, though. I'd be careful with that if I was in that 20 machine because he just about sent that 74 machine packing. This is the last thing you want to do. Big wiggle out of turn 2 as well. That 20 machine just a little unstable here in the draft. But look at the speed difference now. Closing that advantage in rapidly. 5 laps to go. Looking up to the outside. Overheating. Are they just
He's
going to
doing a
send
good
it here?
job, though.
I think they're just sending it. stay on the back bumper till she overheats.
They're really trying to run these guys
Yeah,
down,
that's
and
gonna take
they're giving it everything to catch these guys in front. But again, it's still not enough.
And not as much here as they were getting with the 20 machine a little bit ago. But still in tandem, making up some good time. Remember, it was about 4.5 seconds there for a bit. Now bringing it down to 3.8. Here we go. Good momentum into turn 3.
And potentially a swap about to take place up front here. As Barbagallo continuing to push his teammate Caleb McKinney, looking these guys for a 1-2-3 podium lockout. Dennis Kane has just been sent onto the apron in pack 2, deeper in the field with a big checkup. And that is completed, discombobulated with the whole field. And now any chance they had of catching this pack has gone up in smoke.
So stalling out right now at the 3.5 margin. 00 getting tacked back up to the rear bumper, trying to make something happen. 3 laps to go, though. You've really got to step it up here if you want to close in on this first pack. You see the 00 machine backing out of it now, overheating.
Boy.
And it's going to have to get out of the way here if they want to keep doing what they've been doing, rotate and let somebody else take over.
You saw the replay of what happened to Dennis Kane. And I think a lot of these guys started to realize it is effectively over. 2 laps to go. If we don't get something that happens here in this pack within the next lap, then this race will be official. To the inside goes Colton Manich as Wesley Triplett bailing out. You can see the leaders on the bottom right. The second pack on the top left, and around goes Triplett. There it is. Trying to hold on. He's not going to save it.
There it is.
And there's the caution that the top 3 was dreading. A multi-car crash on the back straightaway. It is overtime at Talladega. And boy, the top 3 are going to be furious.
I don't think anybody out here is going to be more furious than the driver of that 74 machine, Wesley Triplett, though. Such a great, strong race. Good run he'd been working on all day long. And it just ends up in a shower of smoke and sparks. Oh, hard hit to the door from the 48 machine. And pretty much gets hit by everything that passes on the way as well. And you're watching that car right now just limp around the track. Rear end completely knocked out.
And there's the look from the air as Triplett got turned around, slid back up into traffic, and you can't push on that left rear. You just can't do it. It never ends well.
No, not at all. You can hardly push on the center of the rear on these cars. This is absolutely the last thing McKinney, Barbagallo wanted to see. Chance Mang, though, you like your chances right now. Because now you have the option of outside help. Bring it home.
Ouch.
Oh, such a hard hit.
That was a brutal impact that we
I think it was
saw.
a 59 machine.
There was somebody that absolutely smoked the inside wall with, as Martin would put it, a cannonball shot. And do believe that was the 48 of Brian White who went into the inside wall there, because that car is done and out. And the reason why this hit is so hard here, Sheldon, is because he took right into that access wall right there. And that, of course, is the wall that not Chris Buescher hit, but somebody
Priest,
in the
wasn't
Xfinity race smoked. No, it was somebody in the inside wall smoked that wall in 2016 in the Xfinity race. And then, of course, like you said, it happened again with the 14 car this year as well in the Cup Series.
That's one that I've thought for a long time they need to rework.
It's one of those places you don't think a car will hit it, and yet every year we seem to find ways of getting a car into that wall. And he had to come down pit road for a top off on fuel, so he was not safe to go into overtime. Now, granted, We have 3 overtime attempts here. Now, we need to make it all the way back to the white flag for an attempt to be official. And overtime here at a super speedway like this, it takes a lifetime. Because, boy, that first lap, even on that one lap, there's a lot that can go wrong.
Yeah. There's a lot that can go wrong, but also you've got to factor into that first lap is basically a throwaway lap for a majority of the field because there's not really much you can do. It takes you so long to get through the gears and get these cars up to momentum where the draft is actually effective. Because, you know, this is the only series left in the top 3 of stock car racing that still uses the restrictor plate. Everybody else, tapered spacer or just raw engine with a lot of drag. This Xfinity car is fundamentally the same thing, aside from, you know, spring rules and mandates as what they had, you know, when they fired these things off the grid back in 2000.
Well, what do you think? Do we still see Barbagallo or McKinney up front by the end of this one, or will we be getting a different winner?
I feel a sense of desperation starting to set in through the field here. That's what I'm feeling right now, and I think with that, you're going to have a lot of unpredictability because everybody now has a chance to win this thing. You know, a few minutes ago, only 3 guys had a shot. Realistically, only 2. But I think now it's pretty much going to be damn the torpedoes for most of these drivers. They're going to be sending it in ways that you didn't think they could probably do here tonight.
I would be surprised if we didn't see the top 2 pick for the same lane of the restart just to try to work together.
Also, would be surprised if you don't see the top 10 on a rollback come to the line.
Oh, no!
Oh, he did it!
The choose code's been hit again! And that is by one of the drivers that was in the top 2. Miscommunication, Sheldon, between the teammates.
I tell you
that
what.
That is disaster. That's a lot of air damage as well to have to work with.
Yeah.
And he's got a meatball flag. He's going to have to come to pit road, I reckon. And it has been 0 days since we've hit the choose cone.
If you're McKinney, that pretty much defeats you before you even get this thing going. Because Barbagallo was going to be a huge determining factor for McKinney winning this race. And I mean, we just sent the cone all the way to space.
What? I mean, was there a lack of communication, or was he trying to fake out the field, or?
I don't even know a point in trying to fake it out at that point.
And all of a sudden, what was set to be a podium lockout has resulted in only one of the teammates of the 3 up front. And that almost guarantees that McKinney's not winning this race.
Well, yeah, they ain't going to work with him now. He's led too many laps.
It's a very sad 0. We're putting a bunch of shorts out on the channel as of late, Sheldon. We're going to have to turn one of those into a choose cone being hit compilation.
I think we've got enough footage at this point.
Hey, it's what, 4 races this season now where the choose cone has been hit?
Maybe they need to make the choose cone bigger. Put a big old M8 out there or something. Or even better, one of the pro lights. That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, maybe. Car would drive underneath them. The pace car wouldn't be all that damaged because those trucks are meant to take a hit. 2 laps to go here. Roughly just over 5 miles of race left in the United Rentals restart zone. McKinney takes off and the green flag is back out.
Down through 1 and 2, McKinney and Puffenbarger leading the charge on the bottom lane. Does Puffenbarger stay in line with that 76 machine, or does he tuck out here? Inside line with the advantage right now. No top line form just yet. It's, you know, a couple cars back before you really get into anybody stacked up there and around on the back straightaway.
And that didn't take long at all. Caution is out. Oh, 1 car up into the air, but not over. And cars still piling in here at the back. And we're finally going to slow her back down. Tough break. Caution is out again. And by far one of the hardest hits was Jonathan Nance. Got hit at the backside. And that sent the back end of that car up and into the air.
Also, a tough break for Chance Manning. Gets caught in another one here.
On board with Manning.
Oh, starts another one here.
Yep.
Same thing we saw earlier. Tries to send it 3 and just tags that left rear quarter panel. Sends them right around.
That's all she wrote. A tough break for a majority of the field here. Man, just when you think, we can get out of this unscathed, there's always something. Angel Hernandez had quite an avoidance here. Watch for the 42 on the inside here of this. Right there, that blue and white card down to the bottom. Just skates through on the inside right by the wall.
Yeah, I think he knew something was going to happen there.
Yes, sir, he did. And good instincts to jump that down to the inside as best as he could. This is on board with that 42.
Also, I had to look back at it because somehow Brandon Puffenbarger scored as the leader right now.
Look at this. Look at how close this gets here. Ay, ay, ay. I mean, that is a bit close for comfort out of the driver's side window.
I think we missed some 5 machine up here at the point right now. This is while the big one's happening behind them. They just duck up to the outside line to leave that 76 machine of McKinney out to dry. As Puffenbarger and Corey Crow. And that might be a deadly duo because we saw how fast Corey was when he was pushing earlier trying to catch up that second pack.
Now the question is the choose cone going to be able to get back out on the racetrack? It does not look like it. So no choose cone for the remainder of this race.
How many Volkswagens we been through this year?
At least 4. You had the incident at Bristol where the choose cone not only got hit but then ran out of fuel as well.
That was a rough night. I think it was
And that right there appears to be the moment of caution. And you can see very clearly Brandon Puffenbarger was definitely in front with the nose.
That's all you need right there. That's going to completely change the complexion of this thing even more.
Yes, sir. So this is going to be attempt number 2 of 3. Once again, we have 3 attempts. This will be the second. We will have one more chance after this one. Assuming we end up under the yellow flag once again. Did we use all 3?
Yes.
Don't parrot our producer.
No, I'm not parroting the producer. No, yes. I mean, just based on everything we've seen tonight, I think we got a good 1 or 6 more wrecks in us. Somebody's going to hit that on the box.
I don't think it's... I'd be impressed if they managed to.
Somebody's going to find a way to hit it.
Yeah, that back end is all beat up. It's been ironic that even the part that's dented in is the text in the back that reads "Go Around." Someone didn't get the memo.
I wonder what the life expectancy is for a choose cone driver. It's got to be like industrial age numbers there.
Well, no, because you got to remember the choose cone is obviously an omnipotent being, just like our very valiant pace car drivers and our very valiant flagman Barney. You don't want to risk the wrath of the choose cone, because, I mean, yeah, he hit it, but Barbagallo's got a lot of damage and effectively can't win this race because of it.
Yeah, it's going to take him. Well, I don't think there's any amount of wrecks left in this thing to get that thing fixed.
So no more choose cone. It is iRacing alignment from here on out. That means that it is going to be Puffenbarger on the inside and Caleb McKinney on the outside.
It's another curveball to throw at us here in the closing stages. So who do you think is going to bring it home here, Dustin? Is that Nolan?
I have no idea. It could be anyone. I've learned not to make guesses like that on the final laps at a Talladega or even a Daytona race, for that matter. It never goes my way. Never.
Oh, I think I'm gonna go with the numbers here. I think it's gonna be that I think the 88 machine of Michael Harris is gonna somehow find a way to sneak this one away. Run a quiet race.
Going with the numbers in a game of chance is a dangerous game, Sheldon.
No, I'm gonna go with the 88 because I feel like these guys up at the front, somebody's gonna throw a bad push, they're gonna wipe themselves out, and that 88's gonna slip his way through.
Our producer has very eloquently chosen Barbagallo, the car that hit the choose cone, as his pick to win.
I picked the choose cone actually. I changed it.
You picked the choose cone. You know, if you were at Bristol, I might have believed you.
Oh, man.
I'd say you had a shot.
If only they'd have, put more than 2 liter of fuel in it.
Let's be fair, those cars aren't made to do more than 10 laps tops. Got a track that's under 2 miles.
You should just bring out the M8 next year.
iRacing pace car headed down to the pit road. And it's going to be Brandon Puffenbarger to lead the field back to green. Once again, 2 laps to go here in this one. And the green flag back into the air. We're racing once more.
And a great shot to the back of the 5 machine of Puffenbarger there from the 20 of Crowell. Gets him moving. Looks like that outside line's going to be hung out there. The 76 machine pretty much going to get sucked all the way back to the end of the pack here because everybody's going single file to the bottom.
Oh, boy, McKinney tried to get in line. He's still trying to get in line with Corey Crowell, but Crowell's not letting him in. Dangerous games being played here on the back straightaway as everyone squeezing that inside lane in.
Look at how aggressive a side drive that 76 machine of McKinney is pulling as the outside line starts to stack up, and he's got help behind him. McKinney's finally found himself a teammate in the 77 machine of Barbagallo.
Do we make it? Do we make it around the tri-oval now to take that white flag? Crowd motion up, and oh boy, nearly gets into the back of McKinney. Not able to get the run going this time by the Puffenbarger tries to go up the block. White flag in the air, will make it back.
And at the white flag, Puffenbarger going to lead, but down into 1 and 2. It looks like McKinney's going to have the advantage. A little bit of a hip check here on the bottom of the track. It's going to move the 76 machine up, stall the momentum a little bit. It's going to give Puffenbarger the advantage here coming down to the backstretch.
1 lap to go, now half a lap to go. Oh, jump on it around! Puffenbarger hard into the inside wall to the back straightaway. All of a sudden, it's McKinney and Barbagallo up front. When does Hernandez make the move? Does Spotsler have something in him? Teammates running 1, 2, both leading a line each, but they have no teammates behind.
Oh,
Coming
Hernandez.
out of 3, Hernandez up to the top side. Barbagallo's chancing over smoke. Contact again, and Spotsler turned down to the outside wall. Now it's up to Colton Manick. Manick up to the outside. A big block from McKinney. And McKinney's going to hold on to win at Talladega with a block at the line.
There was one more wreck up there at the front. I would have been right.
Boy, our producer is almost right. That doesn't happen all that often either. But Caleb McKinney defying the odds to win at the Talladega Superspeedway.
And after such an incredibly dominant performance, too. I mean, how often do you get to say the dominant car at a superspeedway won the race? That's right there.
Oh,
Crowell,
boy.
he was so aggressive with the pushing earlier in the race, and he did great all race long, but just one mistake. And it was the deal breaker for him as well as the 5 machine of Puffenbarger.
Barbagallo coming up to give his teammate a congratulations after Barbagallo got punched hard into the outside wall. And Caleb McKinney will start his run off strong. That was his look on board with Barbagallo as Hernandez, he and another car got turned up into the outside wall. And McKinney going to burn it down on the front stretch.
Well deserved too. I mean, I didn't think there's any way after he lost his teammate there to the choose cone.
And that 76 machine is going to be able to cross the stripe in P1, but they're just pure determination. Gets the job done here tonight from Talladega.
Unbelievable. Let's take a rundown of your official post-race results here this afternoon. It is McKinney taking it home by 1/10 of a second over Colton Manick. Then it is Michael Harris coming home number 3. Gary Wright in 4th. Chance Manning in 5th. Dominic Barbagallo in 5th. Armand Barnacle in 6th. Angel Hernandez back in 8th. And then Dennis Kane and Joshua Neal rounding out the top 10.
Second place coming into the white flag ends up being 11th place for the 20 machine of Corey Crowell with Kurt Sponsler in 12th. Coming home 13th after the heartbreak is Brandon Puffenbarger with Todd Slauson 14th. 15th going to Wesley Peebles with Ed Brown, Shane Griffin, Jonathan Nance, and Wesley Triplett, as well as Brian White rounding out your top 20.
And back to the field, it's Ryan Fleck, Wayne Garland to close this one out. And then, of course, Brandon Kiger, Michael Gervey, Michael Smith, and Wyatt Walker all did not take to the start to the starting line here this afternoon or made it past lap number 1. Man, wild race that we had here this afternoon. Let's get a chit-chat in here with Caleb McKinney, the driver that comes home number 1. Caleb, what an absolutely wild finish. It went from a guaranteed 1-2-3 podium lockout down to you being the lone survivor at the head of the field, and you're somehow able to pull the block. And unlike most cases where we see a car get turned, you held on to win.
And this was an absolute amazing race for me and Team Sequential Sim Sport. So I'm just really proud of how they raced tonight, and we were able to work together, and it worked off at the green flag pit stop, and we were able to go like 4 or 5 seconds up, and then we were able to keep them back there, and that late race caution just absolutely just hurt us. It was like seeing everyone just fall like flies. Is crazy, but yeah, I just at the green flag. Yeah, green and white checkers. It was just I was just not certain I was going to win this race. I had all the cards stacked against me, and I was super low on fuel. And yeah, I'm just super proud of Dom for getting back up to me and giving me a push to get past Corey and Brandon, and Manic. He raced a really good race tonight, and yeah.
So talk to us about the championship. Obviously, being a playoff driver, this is a huge way to kick off the season. The wild card round definitely was going to be this race here today, but North Wilkesboro is coming up next week. What are you going to have to do to make sure that you can maintain that point slate coming into next Tuesday?
Yeah, man, just gotta stay consistent, I guess, because I'm not really that decent at North Wilkesboro. So just have to have a decent race with no errors, pretty much.
We'll wish you the best of luck when we go racing once again next week. Congratulations on taking home a win here at the Talladega Superspeedway, and we'll see you next week in North Carolina.
Thank you, man.
Caleb McKinney comes home number 1, and moving on down through the field, it's going to be Colton Manick, the driver that got blocked off for the win, and he is standing by with Sheldon Atkins.
Sitting here after a hard-fought runner-up finish, started this thing off 17th, pretty much just hung out around mid-pack all race long just to be there at the end. Was that the strategy, just to avoid the wrecks?
Yeah, absolutely. It was a little bit chaotic, as you guys have seen, so I just wanted to take care of my stuff and just try to be there at the end and maximize points, really.
Well, we definitely maximized on the points. Only one spot separating you from getting, the elusive dub here tonight. Do you think there's anything you could have done different on that last lap to get past the 76 machine of McKinney?
Looked at it a couple times. I don't think so, because Caleb was up there the whole race, and for me, while we had a good run coming to the line, I saw him kind of edge up just a little bit, and I didn't want to chase it to the wall and risk taking us both out. So at that point, I just kind of cut it back and gave him a good push and pushed him across the line, because, like I said, I was about maximizing points, and I didn't want to risk wrecking him after him being up front the whole time, and then obviously taking it myself in the same time. So
After the runner-up finish tonight, how are you feeling about your chances here going into the closing couple weeks here for the season? How are you feeling about North Wilkesboro next week?
That's a track that I kind of struggle at, so I'm going to need to put down some laps there to feel comfortable. Right now, I'd say the confidence level is pretty low going into there, but the final 2 races, I think we'll be all right. I don't think we'll be anything for the championship unless we get a little bit of luck on our side. I think we'll probably float around the 5th place or so run, which I'd be happy with.
Well, congratulations on the 2nd place finish tonight. Who do you want to thank and shout out for this runner-up performance this evening?
Definitely everybody here at Mars, but especially Corey, everything that he does and all the admin do for the league, just all of them. And then my sponsors, Williamsburg Contracting and Schenko Custom Diecast. So, and obviously you guys too for the broadcast.
Well, appreciate you, buddy. That was Colton Manick, driver of the 00 machine here tonight. And I'm going to hand it on to Nolan with our 3rd place finisher. I believe he's floating around. Yes, he is. The 88 machine of Michael Harris.
We'll bring Michael Harris up here into the broadcast booth. A wild finish then for Harris. Michael, you were able to just escape the melee that we saw throughout this field on that final lap and slipped through to 3rd. The hard charger of the day. It's got to feel good.
Yeah, it was a great day. Feel good about it. Got lucky a few times and tried to stick with Colton there at the end, but had a lot of fun tonight.
Talk us through this race, because, boy, it was a very chaotic stage 1. The 2nd stage kind of calmed down for a little bit until the final 5 laps, and everything just kicked off in a high gear.
It was. The 48 car and I there on the race to the stage were a little worried about those lap cars there in the front, but got the blood pressure down after that, and then put a little strategy in there and pitted for some gas and kind of went towards the back, which, in the long run kept me out of some trouble, which was ideal.
Looking forward, obviously, North Wilkesboro Speedway just around the corner, and it's going to be the final short track race of the season as well. What's going to be the takeaway for you as we get set to roll into the final half-mile race of the season?
Good momentum. I'm a local to North Wilkesboro as a North Carolina resident, so a lot of good energy going into that. Hopefully we can keep this thing rolling.
Well, Michael, obviously a fantastic outing for you here this afternoon, 23rd to 3rd, and who knows, we'll see if it'll be a similarly good performance next week when we go racing to North Carolina. Congratulations on 3rd, and we'll see you next week.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Michael Harrison is number 88, comes home number 3 this afternoon, and Sheldon, that's going to do it for the post-race interviews. A wild way to kick off the playoff season, but still more action yet to come next week from North Wilkesboro Speedway, where it's the 2nd of 4 playoff rounds.
Tell you what, I'm excited. It's also, I think, my first opportunity covering North Wilkesboro since we got the big change. I mean, it's an entirely different track than what we had for all the time that's been on the service. I don't know how many have you gotten to cover there since they did the refresh.
I've done only a couple of them. I think the most recent one was actually the Zero Torque Racing League Cup Series with the Clash earlier this year. So it's going to be an interesting ride for sure coming up. That'll, of course, be kicking off the month of December on December 2nd here at 7:40 p.m. Eastern time. And you find all the action here on Green Flag for the rest of the season as well. In the meantime, that's all the time we're going to have for one afternoon. Later on this week, the Zero Torque Racing League takes once again to the racetrack on Friday night. And of course, the Precision Automobile Club Esports will be out on Sunday afternoon at the Thruxton Circuit as well. 2 races you're not going to want to miss before High Tide Racing League returns next Monday, along with Mars, when they take to the 2nd playoff race and North Wilkesboro. For us in the booth, my name is Little Remple alongside Sheldon Atkins. Dustin Ollis is always doing a great job behind the cameras for all the hard time I give him sometimes. But tell you what, a fantastic race this afternoon, and this playoff run only going to pick up in spades throughout the rest of the season. We'll see you next week when we go racing for more at North Wilkesboro.